So let me introduce the McGarvey brothers. They are not musicians. They're from Fonte Surgical Supply. That doesn't mean you're going to get operated on. This is obviously non-surgical equipment. Our fearless member of the steering committee rates them highly from all the devices that he's gotten from them. So let me go through it. Let me have them go through a demonstration.
Perfect.
Good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Matt. That's Tom. I'm the older one, just in case anyone's wondering. Okay. I do medical equipment. I've been with the company now 26 years this month. How long have you been?
24.
24. So I recruited him after I started. Because the
Only
owner was
from
looking for
Florida.
someone. I drove him back from Florida. And my mother was my coordinator too. So I had 3 out of the 4 family members working at Fonte's. And I wouldn't let my dad work there because he was a car salesman. It's not a car salesman.
It's transportation.
Yeah, but it's, people come to me because they need something. So I don't like the word salesman because I think I'm more of an advocate because I'm trying to find the best piece that'll work for you at that specific time. Even if it's something you don't want to hear, I'm going to say it anyways because honesty is always the best policy. So we've been doing that. The company's been open since 1994. We pretty much do everything except oxygen because we don't want to work on the weekends if we don't have to. But we have a lot of equipment to show you. I hope I can fill up all your time, but some of the equipment is not covered by insurance, but others are. And we can start off as far as basic, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hands. This is totally informal. It's more important that you guys get the information, and we'll go from there. Does anyone have any questions to start before I start? Or before he starts, because he knows a lot too. And I'm still learning. We're both learning. We don't know everything that's out there, but we've had a lot of experience. I know I've had a lot of experience with Parkinson's and other related diagnoses, so I have a good idea where to start and go from there.
I might say this is only a spattering of the equipment that they have. There's also home aid equipment that they do with you, stair lifts.
Power toilets.
Yeah, we are 1- today because there was a death in the family, so I was going to bring Seth, who also does the insurance equipment, but he does the ramps and we call them VPLs, vertical platform lifts, and all that stuff, but he couldn't make it today. So, and then I brought Mike. Well, I didn't bring Mike. Mike brought me. What Mike has will be the last thing I'll show you because I'm more of a specialty type provider. So there's a niche that I have in the world that I hopefully excel at. So I'll show it that last, and we can start, I guess, with the walker if you want to.
Yeah,
Kind of give them a rundown.
is anyone familiar with the U-Step walker? I heard a couple people have already had it.
Yes.
Okay. Have you tried it at all?
Yes.
Okay. I recognize you. You've been in. I know you. So the U-Step walker is the one piece of equipment that is specifically designed for Parkinson's. There's different options that you can get with the U-Step walker, an audio cue with a laser. Insurance will help out with the basic U-Step walker. Unfortunately, the audio cues and lasers, that's something that the insurance says we don't want to pay for, you get to. But this is a very unique walker in the instance that in order for it to roll, you have to literally squeeze the handles to roll. So if you have a shake or something, you let go, it stabilizes itself so you can regain. There is adjustments to it depending on how much you need, so that's where a therapist is going to be involved into getting this fine-tuned to exactly what your needs are going to be. They do make it where you do have, you can fold it, you get it in the car, so it is portable in that way. There is a power seat, it does give you some storage underneath just for your basic $100 bills. Again, there is now a new option that I apologize for not bringing in, only because it just has come out. The kind of new trend with the walkers has been with the platforms. I'm sure you guys have seen them out and about different ways. USTEP has now incorporated now platforms to this walker. So you can still get the benefits of the laser cue and the audio cue, but now have it to where you have something that actually put your arms on and help you stay upright. So, but this is a one piece of equipment through the doctors that you can get a prescription for, and then supporting documentation, of course. That's one thing that the insurance company never tells you, is that it's not just always a prescription, there's always going to be something more that they want. So, but we are, have been down the road many, many times. We know what they're looking for. We'll work with you guys and your insurance and your doctors to get what we need to make sure that they're going to help you with it. So.
Can you explain the platform a little bit more? Because that's the thing that always confuses me when I take a look at the.
Sure. Well, I'll give you this for at least something to visually see. So instead of having just your standard ones, you're going to have canes that go up, and there's literally going to be a padded, kind of like your forearms, where your arms are going to go in, and you're going to hold it like this, and you're going to be able to release it just like you would here, but it's going to be up here.
I'm just thinking about getting him out of bed in the morning. And so, usually I have to kind of pull him up with my arm and then get him in there. Would this be something where he would put his elbows?
Well, unfortunately, he's already going to be sitting, he's going to be in a seated position already, so
Right.
I would say that once he's up, it'll help. And I mean, I don't think getting him up from that position,
Okay.
it would be a benefit.
And then taking him somewhere, like if you needed to go to the bathroom, just swirling him around into there with him standing up. Is that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, transfers would be a little easier because he's already going to be in that upright position.
Pretty tight circle.
Yep.
Have you
So-
tried a floor to ceiling pole?
No,
It's called a transfer pole.
no.
So it's held in by tension, goes to the ceiling, goes to the floor, it's got rubber on each side. And it's a good, you can put it right next to the bed, it's a good assist to help you heat pull a little bit. You can use it in the toilet to help with those turning transfers.
Okay.
And also a stand pivot disc. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So there is a disc that you set at his feet. And what that will do is it'll allow you to pivot him.
Ah,
and
that would
rotate. So
really
he's not,
help.
so he's
Okay.
actually not trying to, you're literally just turning him.
Yeah, because in the morning we have all the equipment now. I do the walker, and then I have to push him out a couple of feet before I can get the wheelchair in there, and
Yeah, I have one at the store, so again, it's something that, the reason why I have everything at the store is because the hardest thing to do, and I'm sure you guys have done it, you go onto the internet, it's a rabbit hole. I mean, you start going off in all different directions, but basically what I had, based on what you're describing, it would be something, let's try it, see how it does. So in the car, transferring someone, once you get them in the upright position, rotating them to actually sit is much easier.
Yeah, the rotation is the
Yeah,
hardest.
I have seats that go inside the car that actually rotate, that are a cushion. So just getting that rotating, I
Yeah.
have options for that too. So,
What did you call that stand pivot, what?
Disc.
Disc.
Yeah, they call it, on Amazon, they have a Safety Sure pivot disc. Safety Sure pivot disc.
I've got to say that for a lot of us in this room, that's a big thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, it's-
Doing it safely.
Right, because the pivot or the turn is the most
So
difficult
if I
for these
remember,
patients to do.
another thing that you guys can try is called the gait belt with handles. That is something that they put on just like your regular belt, but it's going to give you something to grab onto to actually help with that turn. It's nothing that is very easy to put on. It's actually to help stand up too, because the hardest thing is grabbing. The
Yeah,
worst
we've
thing-
just been doing this thing.
Yeah, and you can hurt your shoulder.
But sometimes, you grab the wrong one, you get a wedgie. I mean, you do what you gotta do sometimes. But this is
Yeah,
a
we've
way.
done that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but this is a way that'll have handles and then you can securely kind of help get them up, or at least have more control. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's the control and just,
Well, safety
You're
is
so close, you can't get them into the wheelchair.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
because safety is a big issue, and I preached this to Mike when I was helping him, for his wife, is because she needs to help him. So we have to, even though insurance doesn't care, I'm focused on trying to make it work for both of them. Because if she hurts herself or something, how's she gonna help him?
Yeah, it can.
Right, so you lifting up with that shoulder, that makes me think that you could start to entertain other options.
And like I said, going places, sometimes, you know, as great as that chair is for Mike, sometimes not the easiest. So, and it's heavy, you know, it's heavy. The gentleman there, I know your name?
Right.
Nice to meet you again. What he is sitting at is 22 pounds. Again, 22 pounds to me is not heavy, but to somebody else, it could be very heavy. So there is options to where, like this chair here, I can take this down to 14 pounds. And it is now still portable. You can control it from the back. You can lock it in place so for transferring, it doesn't move. And again, it breaks down.
So, and all these stuff, if anyone wants to sit in them and play with them, we're gonna do that.
Yep. So, any other questions on U-Step?
No, not on the use. I wanted to know the weight limit on that.
300.
On the chair or on the music?
They're both 300.
Anyone wants to blurt out questions, please.
Yeah.
This is, you know,
We're kind of winging it.
just be a sponge, you know?
So.
Is the new platform, it's something you adapt your use of?
No, unfortunately, that's the one thing. It is.
They couldn't make it that easy for you.
Yeah. That is designed into the walker itself. So,
You know, why can't
unfortunately,
they
it's not something with those. If you have a current
in
U-Step
and-
walker, that you can adapt to what you currently have.
So.
I'm not saying that, honestly, one question I couldn't answer unless I called him is if you do have an existing U-Step walker, if you send them your U-Step walker, can they adapt what you have to the platforms? That is a question that I can find out, because it's an interesting question.
Because if you had just bought one, you don't have to
Totally
use it
agree.
for 5 years.
Totally agree,
Yeah.
absolutely. But again, you know, I know U-Step is a small company, and, you know, they are usually very, you know, helpful. Because if you look at that pamphlet, there's a whole story of how that company kind of got created and why. And I'm sure it's a lot of similar things that you guys are dealing with also, so.
And we did bring up a book here that if anyone wants to sign it and has a question, we can get back to you and get you the answer.
Absolutely.
Well, I have your attention. Where are you located?
Rhonda,
Around?
yeah, unfortunately not that close.
What's the name of your company?
Fonte Surgical, Fonte.
So would we make an appointment? No?
I mean,
Just
I mean-
drop in?
I have cards that have my cell phone, you can say, yeah, we're headed in, are you available? Absolutely.
And then you mentioned about getting a prescription from your doctor, and then there was other things, you know, you would need to get.
If you want to go through the insurance process, two things is always, I always tell everyone that you always need a prescription to go through your insurance. There's not a guarantee your insurance is going to pay for that item that you have a prescription for, but we can't do anything without it. So my eye, the worst thing that it is a worthless piece of paper.
And then every customer service rep will say no matter what piece of equipment you ask them for, it is covered,
Yes.
which is, you
So-
know, if I wanted a Ferrari, I could probably call and someone would say, yes, it's covered.
That's where you need that justification letter.
Right, it could be signed by the Pope, it wouldn't matter.
So even on the code side, you know, everything is somewhat coded, but what they don't tell you when they call is the code that they have assigned to it has a $0 amount that they pay for it. So it's a way that it's coded, but they don't pay anything for it,
So like, VPLs, those elevators we use for wheelchairs, they're not covered, but there is a code with a $0 price for it, what they're gonna pay us.
Same with the
$0.
stair lifts, same with the stair lifts. As much as that thing is great, it'll keep you in your home, and they'll cover it.
Yep.
It's just,
But you can call the insurance company and say, yes, that is a covered item.
that customer service number, they will give you, they are tier 1, is what I say. There's always multiple tiers to a company. Insurance is no different. They are gonna tell you yes, because the insurance company never wants to be painted in a negative light. They don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and that's where, fortunately, we come in. It's not like we don't want to do it through insurance. We would do it, of course, if we could. There's just more to it than what they're gonna tell you.
Yep.
I don't know if any of you have ever applied for Social Security disability, but that's an automatic rejection on the first application.
Yep.
That's an attempt to get you to quit. Okay?
And it's almost like that with equipment,
Yes.
like his chair there, almost.
But with Social Security, you just need a lawyer. And if they want that from there.
Yeah, what are the prices?
Prices. We have some on these.
Yep.
So, ones we can tell you the prices for not insurance items. So like this one's just under $3. This one is $5.99. That is, if you can't get it covered, $7.99. Those are variable because those are insurance items, and depending on what insurance it is, everyone has a set price for those items.
And they, you know, when they say, oh, they cover 80%, it's never 80% of what this price is. It's 80% of the contracted rate or reimbursement that the insurance company has for
Yeah,
that.
insurance
price.
tells us what they're gonna pay for.
Exactly, exactly. And that's where getting that the balance of the item that you want, the quality that you want, and to get the job done, that's where we come in. So, again, if they were gonna pay for a car, would they pay for the Cadillac or are they gonna pay for the Chevy Cavalier? It's kind of.
They're always going for the least costly.
Exactly.
They don't mind taking it, they just don't wanna give it back.
You got it. You got it. Any other questions on the U-Step walker? Okay, what I'm going to go to is a company called Journey. So Journey was a company, if anyone has any drive equipment, that gentleman there has a drive piece of equipment. Drive has been around forever. The gentleman that used to run that company has branched off and kind of started his own thing. The reason why I started carrying Journey, to be honest with you, is that they were the company that decided to just go different, try to fill a niche. Where this chair is very beneficial is your weight. Again, he's sitting in a 22-pound chair. 22 pounds can make a big difference to the caregiver who's got to lift him in and out of the car. So what they have done is that they have made it to where you can have this type of chair here. The person that is pushing it can control it, apply the brakes. But if someone actually still wanted to propel it, they can, and they still have that control. Okay. If you needed to get into a car and you had a small vehicle, you can literally break this down, lift this up. These
Should
come
that be
out.
anything to do that?
Yeah. And
You don't feel.
Sure does.
and these come off. So again, this goes down to 14 pounds.
So I encourage anyone who's dealing with heavy stuff,
Yes. And
just to try it.
Yep.
And we're not here to sell you anything, let's get that straight. This is just for information. And like I said, we're not salesmen, but if you have the questions and have a need, we might be able to.
Because everybody has different options, or has different needs that they gotta fulfill. All we are is I take that knowledge and I kind of give you the best options that I think that we have that will fill all the check all the boxes.
So what do you call that chair?
This is just a Journey ultralight wheelchair.
Go ahead, ma'am.
How many parts are there to the wheelchair to be able to get it to, say, the same 22 pounds? So that they
Well,
have
this
something-
by itself is 17, so it's
The whole
already.
thing is only 7.
Altogether, as you see it.
Okay.
That's Paul, right?
Craig.
Craig, that's right. And a tipper. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry. I helped him with, he had a device that we helped
Stuck
him.
on something, he
Sorry.
won't let it go.
No. It's a smile. Once he smiled, I knew, I remembered. Okay.
It's his
So,
favorite chair.
yes, good. So again, this is just a great option.
But it's not an insurance option.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fortunately not. Weight isn't gonna be everything. Breaking it down to literally nothing, 14 pounds, as you can tell. I remember what you guys were dealing with, getting in the back of the car was a big issue. So, again, they came in the store. Again, they had gone down that rabbit hole of the internet. They told me what they were kind of going through, and we tried it. They brought their car up, tried the equipment, and make sure that she could even do it.
Yeah.
Because if she can't, then
Yeah, because what's the point if the caregiver can't do it?
right. So,
Sometimes.
Do you have any of
300.
no, but
Oh, with.
I would say
Well,
it's
it's
gonna be probably.
18, it's 26 inches.
Actually, I'll tell you.
Usually it's 8 inches wider than this.
Well, I'm just wondering if we'll go through residential
Well, bathrooms are usually an issue. Because
27.
most bathroom doors are 24 inches. But they also offer a thing called hideaway hinges. She's very
I
familiar
did
with
'em.
it.
Offset.
And it offset hinges and it keeps it out behind the door jamb.
I was gonna ask you if you had any lightweight chairs that had drop-down arms.
Well,
That was one of my problems.
transfers.
Can't transfer from the
And they did the
chair.
22-inch wheels so
to the
they were
car.
clear from the seat. And then this, you can add a different cushion on.
And also the back.
So, but the back is fixed tight, so
Correct.
that's, you know, so when you add a 4-inch cushion or a 3.5-inch cushion,
How fast will it go?
fast as she wants to push it.
Didn't you say?
Downhill, really
Downhill.
fast.
There was like a swivel seat on that too?
No, if you needed a cushion, there is a cushion that you can add to this that will literally rotate.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Does it
what I was.
overlay the 1 year?
Well, I can.
Well, it depends on how big the cup is.
Right.
By rotating, do you mean there's a stationary part and then you can literally rotate?
It's an add-on, it's an add-on cushion
Yeah.
that you would literally put on this that would allow it to rotate.
No kidding.
Then you could pull up that arm and just.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that one doesn't cover it at all by insurance.
Nope.
And how much is that one?
$5.99.
Now, does it depend on the insurance company?
Nope.
No,
No.
So what happens is, for every piece of equipment that they want to get covered through insurance, they have to submit it to a company called PDAC. And they cost lots of money to do this because they don't do anything for free. So once they do that for, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, even in the $1 million range, just for one piece of equipment. Once it gets that approval, then it's assigned a code. And then they come determined, they work with the manufacturer, they find out how much it costs, this is what we're gonna pay for it, and you go from there. So some companies, you know, if this chair was coded, it'd probably be $2,000. Okay, because it's just, they gotta make their money back somewhere.
Do you
So,
have something you offer that's similar, that is covered by insurance?
no.
No.
Just, you know, the insurance covers your basic 45-pound lightweight wheelchair.
yeah, and it's the opposite of light.
Right.
It's bulky, it doesn't have wheels that pop off, it's,
And you know how fun it is getting out of the back of the car when you have no leverage and you're trying to lift that. It's dragging it and,
It's like,
again, it's keeping people safe because that's the most important thing.
Well, getting it out of the car is easier than getting it into the car.
well, there are techniques that I can show on how to
Yep.
lift it.
Yep. But of course, the lighter the better.
Yes. And how sturdy are the wheels that come off? I mean, that connection, how sturdy is that?
No, it's the same type of connection that you would have on a bicycle. You have a quick release pins that you push.
Do they have a warranty for a certain amount of time on these?
It's
There is.
Probably, I'd say a year.
Usually a
But
lifetime
it's
on the
gonna-
frame, year, or, and everyone's a little different, so usually like a few months on wear items, like tires and armrests.
But if you were to drop it and break it, it's on you. But if there's a defect or something like that, absolutely. And honestly, the journey has been great.
Well, where the difference is, if you bought it online, let's say, I don't even know if you can buy it online.
But it's.
Who's gonna fix it?
Yeah.
Where at least with us, you can come back and say, hey, and we can reach out to the rep who wants to make sure we keep on buying this stuff. Help us out.
Which they are really good. Timely, they take time, but they take care of it. That's all I can really ask them yet.
Are there any different types of wheels, like for icy editions or whatever?
This on the end is, what you see is what you get, one size only.
In red,
Yeah, you do get the big red if you want.
but that's late July.
Because the boat from China hasn't shown up yet.
Oh.
You got a special-
Is there anything that you can put on the back of the wheels to prevent going up like this, the person in the wheelchair from pushing up like this?
Anti-tippers?
Yeah, what are they called?
Anti-tippers.
The ones that come
The ones,
sometimes
the
up.
ones that Craig bent, yes.
Yeah, the one, yeah.
They also make a thing for wheelchairs called an anti-rollback device,
Oh, yeah, okay.
where if, a lot of times my patients will try to get up and then they roll backwards and they fall out of their chair because where as soon as it detects that your bottom, it's weight detected. So as soon as your bottom comes up, they have bars that come back and lock the wheels from rolling backwards.
That's mechanical or is that battery?
It's mechanical. Yep.
All right. Any other questions on the Journey manual check? Okay.
We're almost into my part. I'll let him go with this one.
Okay. All right, well, I'll do the
I
last
get to
one.
talk.
So where this is, why I brought this chair in, is because typically when you get into driving type of equipment, Greg will contest it, Journey made a Zoomer, which is a great chair, it breaks down into two pieces. It has its function. What has now changed is now the ability to, Pride has made out a chair now that you know, for the taller people, sometimes the backs are so low, you can actually get a headrest to actually help support that. And the biggest thing and the reason why I got this in is because this allows you to actually move this joystick to a attendant position. So if the person in it, they're not gonna be able to drive it because the joystick will be right here, but they now have the ability to drive it. It is literally 33 pounds. You can get it in and out of the car. There's nothing that I've seen that is lighter that allows you to do that.
What's the range?
With the attendant control. 10 miles on a charge, but the biggest thing was that attendant control, to be able to drive it and be with that person. So, nice thing is, it's literally just a simple one button. Oh. Okay. Pretty cool. Again, 33 pounds is still 33 pounds. But, again, being able to get out and about was something that.
And you can take the battery out, make it lighter.
Yep. So.
And I see there's a suspension in the front wheels. This is new to me because I only really deal with insurance mostly. So yeah, it's got a suspension in the front
That's
case.
the battery. You can charge it off of the unit itself. And it also gives you a ability to see where your charge is at. So again, not lifting it in and out of the car each time that you need to use it, you can just take the battery out, bring it into the house, charge it, be ready to go when you guys have to go.
Does it plug into a regular outlet?
Yep, regular outlet in your home, or even if you have a car that has the outlet in your car.
Yeah, 120 volts.
Yep.
Hook up in the car.
Yep, and it's a very low amperage, usually 1 amp for every 100 watts. So typical cars are gonna have 400 watts inverters, so you'll have no problem charging the chair. None of it is a fast charging thing, so this is gonna do just something that is going to, it's gonna just allow you to keep it charged if you're traveling. Any questions on the ultralight?
And we encourage everyone afterward. We're almost done. We'll leave a few minutes so people want to sit in and try it. All right. All right. So now we're into insurance stuff. This is a very popular one that we do. Alright, so this is just your basic scooter. It's coded. They spent all the money for insurance to realize that we can sell this. This has the same setup where if you want to, you can take the battery out and leave the scooter in the car and charge this. This does disassemble, but yet, you know, everything's really depends on the caregiver. You know, how much do you want to do? How heavy do you want to deal with? The heaviest piece, I believe, it's either between this or the rear transaxle, which is about 38 pounds.
So one difference with this scooter over most of the other scooters that do go through insurance is their technology in what they call zero turn technology. Typically the trade-off that you had going from a three-wheeled scooter to a four-wheeled scooter is that you get a tighter turning radius with a three-wheel scooter because if you just have the one tire and it can turn almost at a 90-degree angle. Pride has now made it to where their four-wheeled scooter will now almost do 90 degrees. So I haven't seen any that turns tighter than that. So if you have it in your home, you know, having a very small home, that'll be helpful now.
So,
Is it also right?
Yes.
and then you have to have a caregiver that wants to do this. And it's not fun when it's pouring
We're not talking about
Yeah.
out, okay?
How heavy did you say the heaviest piece was?
I think it's about 37, 38 pounds. Right.
10 pounds more than what the rear ends
Yeah.
on the scooters.
But this is an insurance-friendly item.
But does the insurance person come and take it apart, put it together?
I'm not included.
So if it's insurance friendly, you know, could you give us a guesstimate of the possibility and the range of cost to
So,
person?
reimbursement, a lot of times, depending on insurance, I would say anywhere from $300 to $600 your copay if you don't have a secondary insurance that helps out.
And this is like a vehicle that you could supposedly take on the road, so to speak, like sidewalks.
Sidewalks, yes, you might lose some teeth because it really doesn't have suspension, but it will go through grass, obviously dry grass.
I have a friend who has MS. He lives overseas. He says that's been a game changer.
You know, and that's where typically I come in and try to find that hopefully game changer.
Yeah. He says, you know, he's much more independent now. He can travel.
Right, independence, safety, comfort. Those are the goals.
And ability to try it. And again, you guys will see on the internet.
See, I go to the house typically with all my stuff.
And he takes it with him when he flies to visit his family in Iceland.
Yeah, well, that's he's gambling right there. Anything on the airlines, I'm afraid.
It's his family.
Oh,
I said in the area.
right, yeah, get two then.
One of the things one of the advantages that I think that they've left out is the feeling that the person who's operating the machine gets in their increased independence. Because we are always feeling like we're losing independence. And being able to fit into a machine that will increase your ability to act more like a human being is always, the unknown factor.
And to have some sanity so you're not 24/7 with your spouse.
We're past that.
And we're, we are really past that.
All right, so this is a basic power chair. All right, this is pretty close to what is called a, you've seen the hover round on commercials and all that, which is not an insurance, even though they say, oh, Medicare, they're not covered. Right? I've had everyone that I've ever talked to, they're like, I just want a hover round. I'm like, okay. They call me back later and say, oh, it wasn't covered. I said, I know. So, this one we bring out a lot to the house because we try to go in steps. Even with Parkinson's, even though you have a neurological condition, which allows me to do what he has, or even more than that, that's not necessarily the right piece of equipment because everyone progresses differently. And having a more involved piece of equipment doesn't make it easier on the caregiver to go do more things or might, but it's everyone's world is different. So that's what I try to pay attention to. And we did try one of these with you before we went to that.
I remember you brought them on Sprossen.
They do get bigger the more complex they get as well. So, and that's a factor. Home size and all that stuff. Getting in and out of the house. Even though insurance doesn't care about outside the house, I do. So we try to make sure it works for that.
I've redesigned most of our door jambs.
Yes, I figured you would. Yeah,
If
they're
not,
flush
usually-
now.
Yeah, usually if not, the chair will move them for you.
Yeah.
We have a cottage business where you make toothpicks now
Yep.
out of wood shavings from the
Every week
woodwork.
she just goes to the door.
They do sell reinforced like plexi or metal corners
Too late for that.
that are adhesive.
They should sell rubber.
This is a pretty much basic wheelchair. It comes in a bunch of different sizes depending on the person. I can get them narrower, shorter, wider, longer. It does not disassemble, weighs close to 200 pounds. It does have a range of about 15 to 20 miles on one charge. This is a 24 volt system, so there's two batteries working at the same time. And which really allows for lots of torque. This will move furniture or whoever's standing in front of them. And there's a safety factor involved. So I have to pay attention to cognition when I do this equipment too, because if it's not safe for the person in it, it's definitely not safe for the person around them. So
My knees don't fit in the knee hole of my desk. So every time I casually pull up to the desk, it's in a new place in the room.
Well, time to get some 2x4s and cut a block and move it up the road.
So this one is covered by insurance. Usually I have to have a therapist involved, whether it's occupational, physical, to help with the justification. No matter what any doctor says or any insurance company says, the doctor's justifications don't work. You know, the doctor says, "Oh, I'll write a letter for you." It doesn't matter. They know better. Because they know the doctor didn't go to the house. They know that they weren't evaluated in the proper setting with the proper equipment. So it just doesn't work. So we do a lot of these. With Medicare, these, believe it or not, are rentals. So the reason Medicare did that, in case someone doesn't need it, we get it back. They save money and we have to dispense it to someone else. We refurbish them and all that, but that's how that goes. And it's really not involved much. The seats are very comfortable, they're angle adjustable. I can set the height of the seat to help people stand up for transfers. Because you can get a power chair and do some walking, let's say just for transfers. You know, if you're an independent ambulator, you're never going to get one of these. You can get a scooter, but you have to be a little bit more involved to get one of these, and they go in progression. But this has a speed dial. It charges with the same type of charger that works on this, as well as a scooter. Okay.
Does it have a horn?
It's a very horrible horn.
Yeah, 50 years.
But I don't even know why they put horns on these.
It's so that you can accidentally hit it or.
Okay. Fair enough, that's a good point. And this does swivel to help for transfers.
Same with the scooter.
Scooter does that as well. A lot of times people will use these, they'll pull up to the desk and swivel. So,
Suppose they'd be used in one place. You can't transport.
you can transport. It doesn't have the transport hooks, but if there's a mean, you can put it in a van. I put it in my van, but you gotta have a ramp to get it up into the van. Or a lift, yeah. People have the things on the back of their car. A lift is about like a Bruno lift, they call them. It'll go right down to the ground. You drive this on, it'll lift it up. Want to have like a grill cover on it or something to waterproof it and tie it down. But yeah, you can, if there's a determination, you can make it happen. Even the reps now, they're getting, this is a GPS unit, so he knows where the equipment is all the time. Because there are vendors that will, somehow these disappear. Well, the chairs, not the GPS. All right, and I brought Vanna White today. So, Vanna, if you wouldn't mind coming up here. So I do, in my world, this is, even though this is called complex, this is kind of basic for me. I do chairs that you can drive with just your eyes. You're looking at a tablet and do all that, or Google glasses and all kinds of weird stuff. My main niche is like the wheelchair that Christopher Reeves was in, or Stephen Hawking's. That's really what the company has me do. All right. So this is Mike. Say hi.
Hi, Mike.
And he is actually one of my favorite chairs. This is a company that I would do for my own parents, if need be. So we started, I'm not gonna give any specifics, but I'm gonna just start a process.
Where can you tell how you had to adjust?
So I was called in to try to get you a manual wheelchair. And we tried that, and it wasn't getting the need. Plus, they're wider.
Yes.
Because the wheels are on the outside of the chair.
And that was a problem with my bathroom door.
Yeah. And so then I came back with this monstrosity. You know, and
It wouldn't go through the barn door.
it was still narrower than the wheelchair.
Yes.
But, you know, a lot of times I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but unless you figure it out on your own, we're not going forward.
I actually had to see that to realize that I didn't need all of that.
Right.
Okay, so we narrowed it down to what needs I had.
I brought in this blue one here that I showed you, and that was okay. You had that for a few weeks or so, but it wasn't giving enough support that we needed. So I suggested something like this, which I brought to him. And what the difference about this is everything's a la carte. You can put a different cushion on, a different back, hip guides, anything you can think of I can do different to this chair. So if someone's got a 4-inch leg length discrepancy, I can set up the chair to accommodate both legs. Yeah.
This is an accessory. This comes off because my left leg splays out.
And that was the door catcher.
So I simply slip this in the 2 holes and make sure it's always leaning towards me or it'll never go in. And that keeps my weaker leg in equal to my, what I call good leg.
Yeah, because over time, if you let his leg keep on going out, it's called externally rotating, which is really bad for the hip joint. It will cause more pain, and a contracture will start where he'll lose that range to get his leg to midline. So flexibility goes away, all that kind of stuff.
So to transfer out, in or out of this chair, I can simply lift the arms up and transfer in this direction, or if I have to go on this side, I lift this arm and go to that side. So it gives you a greater range of chairs to transfer to, because you've got chairs you can pull up to this way and chairs you can pull up to that way. So,
And these I can even make, when I do my evaluations, to a certain height to help with the transfers. Because if you go too high, they can't get in. If you go too low, they can't get out. So you try to find the magic number. And fortunately, we have. And there's other accessories like a swing away joystick that you can do to help get closer to a table. You know, because this one actually pulls right up to the table.
yeah,
So it works well for euchre.
well.
Not that you're a good euchre player, but it
You'd
works
have to
well.
ask the people I play euchre with.
And then it's got some power features, power seating features, which
That's
still bad. It's, yeah.
You get noticed.
Well, but if it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm getting up and Ann's got another hour before she's gonna get up, and I hit that horn,
Oh, I did that by accident.
I better have the coffee ready, that's all I can tell you.
But you can get power features on these to help with positioning and shifting your weight and comfort. So this one has tilt on it. And if you can tilt for me, Vanna, that'd be great. And this wasn't a quick process. this was something 3-4 months at least we worked on it. You know, sometimes I don't have the equipment really available, so I get it from my representatives.
This
And
is
other
where I
times,
take my naps.
I was gonna say.
other
that's what I would
time, I have to do trials and those take time. And this really helps with transfers, because now he's not fighting gravity to get back in the chair. He can just lift his bridge himself, really it's called, and slide his butt back, and
If you can make him do that, because he's a stubborn man.
that's your whole life. I don't need to know.
Well, here's the incentive for being able to do it right. Being able to move this chair into a different position helps with pressure sores. Because you're gonna spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. You're gonna be fighting pressure sores your whole life.
In this position, we're taking about 60% of the weight off his bottom,
Yeah.
which allows for more blood flow, which is,
Yeah.
So do you
And then,
sleep
like-
in that overnight?
I have twice slept in it overnight, yes.
How
I
do
mean, I
you
don't
sleep-
encourage that. I don't wanna know.
So how do you sleep otherwise?
I sleep in a recliner,
You have that transfer.
and I transfer from on this side into the recliner.
You don't try to sleep in the bed.
I have tried to sleep in a bed. My issues are Parkinson's and osteoarthritis, and a botched knee surgery is what really got me here. The problem I have when I sleep in a bed, when I wake up in the morning, I can't move. And that's most of the Parkinson's. You know, it'll take me 15 to 20 minutes to get out of a bed. Where I have a ejector recliner.
We do have also. Yeah, we do have 30 of them 20 of them on the show floor. We encourage people to come and sit there.
And that's where you can usually locate a salesperson.
I even put a little desk out there first so I can smile when you come in.
So, and this one has, this is different than most because this automatically comes with the hookups for transportation. So there's 4 points of contact that public transportation or medical motors or whatever can hook this chair up to make the chair secure. They still have to use their own seatbelt because none of this stuff is DOT approved out here.
Yeah.
It's just mainly for position.
That's how we got here today. We took a medical transport today. They have 4 locks on the floor, and their seatbelt, we didn't even get our seatbelt out because we knew we had to use their seatbelt to come in. But I was able to choose the position I wanted to be in inside their chair because it doesn't matter where the 4 points on my chair are. I can be watching forward. I can go to the side and take a nap, whatever. The only thing about medical transport is that's not covered by insurance either. So the only insurance that covers it is Medicaid, and they only cover certain
Visits, or transportation visits.
Medical,
certain,
just medical.
yeah.
Doctor's appointments and all that stuff. But like on this chair, everything, believe it or not, pretty much everything besides the base itself is specifically made for him, custom made for him. Because I take every measurement from foot to knee, to back of knee, to butt, to top of shoulders, to where your arms want to rest, and have it made that
So
way.
my platform is 2 inches longer than the chair I originally had. The headrest is really deluxe. If I lay my head back on this rest, eventually, and I fall asleep for 2 hours, my head will actually be molded into this headrest. It rebounds from that, but yeah, and this fits through my bathroom door better than a manual chair, better than a walker actually. In order to get my walker through the bathroom door, I had to take the front wheels and turn them You know, they're on the outside of your walker where you get it. But if you turn them so the wheels are on the inside, you gain 2 inches getting into the bathroom, so.
What is the width on these?
The base is 24. And then with this chair, because of his seat width, he's about 25 and a half, 26 maybe, at max.
And we live in a very small
Where
house.
his wheelchair would be at least 28 to 29.
Yeah, 28
The
inches.
zero turn is,
Yeah, this chair, you don't have to go forward or backward or turn around. He can, right in his own space without touching anything.
I did a 360 inside the van before we came here.
But everyone's different.
fun? Was that fun?
Well, it was slightly terrifying at first.
But that's where, you know, I actually have to have a license nationwide to do this equipment. There was a test I had to take, worst test I've ever taken in my life. But I've had it, 15 years now. But anyways, and I have to get recertified every 2 years.
he should have had a license to drive it.
We live on a hill, at the bottom of a hill. And the first time I took the chair outside, I went up the hill on the wrong side of the street and turned around and came back down on the same side of the street, which made me on the correct side of the street. But I also had it in, there are 3 gear ratios. And inside of each gear ratio, there is a variable. So I had it on number 3, high variable, and I thought I was gonna die. I was going much faster than I ever thought it would.
And he was only going 6.5 miles an hour.
But, when you see people in motorized wheelchairs, they're moving 2.5 miles an hour, maybe, so I decided I will not go uphill again.
I get people call me, I want a wheelchair that goes 20 miles an hour. I'm like, no, you can jump.
You don't want that feeling that something is gonna hit your face at 20 miles an hour.
To the point of going up or down a hill, can you change those speeds and that
Yep,
ratio?
everything is-
It
yep.
it won't.
It has
relax
electric
on you or?
So it has regenerative brakes built into it, so it will not go past its allotted speed.
Did you change the ratio?
Only if you put it in neutral. I can program it. I can program acceleration, deceleration, turning speed, overall speed, how slow it'll go, all that kind of stuff.
And
And
also,
can I change gears while I'm moving?
Yep, I can do it from my phone, Raleigh.
so also it's proportional. So just like anytime anybody is new to this, and Craig can attest to this, is I kind of tell people that the joystick is your steering wheel and your gas pedal all together.
He stole it.
And that takes a lot
Took
of
me only an
learning.
hour to say. So again, you can have,
Let go of this thing, you stop.
It's locked.
and you can have it as fast as possible, but if he only pushes that joystick
Maybe,
a
yeah.
16th of an inch, it's only gonna go.
That it's gonna respond.
Just like a stick, a gas pedal. Yep.
Exactly.
And what's the cost
And-
of this?
They can go anywhere from, I know this was over 10. I've done chairs up to 70.
Ooh,
Okay, and this is adaptable to a left-handed drive as well as a right-handed drive, okay?
and Mike will probably get mad at me for this, but we've discovered a new use for it. He fell in the bathroom last week, and
You gotta hear this.
I could not get him up. But I was able to.
Bathroom is 6 by 9. So when
Fell
I go
between-
in my chair, I back out in my chair, I can't turn around.
So we fell between the toilet and the shower. So we positioned him,
Who did?
you positioned yourself, with his head facing out of the bathroom door. And he came up with this brilliant idea.
She dragged you out with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I said,
I
bring
put
the-
it in
bring- I
reverse
said,
and
bring the
dragged him
electric
out.
chair in. I'll grab the post.
I don't want to know that.
Dragged me to the living room. not just out of the bathroom. Dragged me to the living room.
It worked. I
Butt
did-
naked.
I did.
All right, too much information.
I didn't have to call the EMTs.
No, I know.
Could be worse right on those two.
And we have all this video.
The thing of it is, the thing you need to know from this experience was that I was unharmed. But really, she could control the speed of the chair while she was pulling me out so that I was not in discomfort.
Yeah, just from the joystick.
Yeah.
Nice.
After 26 years, that is the first time I've ever heard of anything like that.
Creative uses.
But they
So how did you get up
Another
there?
party
They don't call me
Yeah,
MacGyver.
no, I'm not gonna mention that.
They don't call me MacGyver for nothing.
Well, that's really all I got. That's all we got. We got some flyers for Fonties if you're interested, and we both have our cards up there if anyone's interested. And if you guys want to try the equipment, please come on.
And there are other suppliers out there, and I encourage you to not hone in on any one.
Yep.
But let me tell you, when I called Fonte, they were the most approachable people to me. It was not, you could tell it was not big business talking to them. It was people business.
Yeah, I've been asked to work for all the other companies that you've heard of. And I've worked, this is the best company I've ever worked for. That's why I've been there for 26 years. So I'm lucky to be there. And if you ever work with a therapist and say, this is the vendor I use, they're not allowed to do that. There is called a patient bill of rights. And it is your right to choose whoever you want to use.
And
no
we
matter
did,
what anyone says.
the other thing I did not mention about this chair was, I didn't do any of the paperwork. It was covered by my insurance, 80%. My physical therapist and Matt, and with this piece of paper from my doctor. And they were able to get the chair covered, and if you don't mind, I'll tell them what it was.
It's up to you.
Okay. My copay after they paid 80% was $2,900.
Not bad.
And that's a small price to pay for the
Yeah.
quality.
This chair is custom made to my needs.
This is a game changer.
What is it that made you decide to sort of take the leap and get something that was as supportive as your wheelchair appears to be?
Well, I used a walker for 6 years, and through those 6 years, my left leg became less and less useful as we went along. And I can't even now use my left leg for pivoting when I make a transfer. I always try to pull up to something so that I can rely on my right leg. And that's essentially, that's a non-Parkinson's issue. Okay, had to do with botched surgeries and my osteoarthritis. But I have gained from using a chair in controlling some of my Parkinson's situations, except for my ability to fall asleep instantaneously.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Ann and I have not been here for several years, and the wheelchair made it possible for us.
And one last thing, there is no perfect piece of equipment.
Yeah.
We're just really trying to improve something, but there is no perfect piece of equipment.
How come these ones behind me got these nice big footpads and I got these?
Because you don't have big feet. And the next size up, you'd be hitting doors and cutting out bottom holes and more wood chips.
In comparison, I was just looking at this one, these drive standard full-size wheelchairs are 48 pounds. So that's a lot to lift into the trunk in and
Yeah.
out. So
It's just worth a
I'm
look.
not getting any younger or stronger.
It's worth a look.
Try that.
Somebody needs to develop and help us here.